Namaste, welcome to yoga. Finding your nice, comfortable seat, sitting up tall with the spine erect. Just allowing the body to relax for a moment before we begin to use the muscles and really put the body to test. Just letting it relax. All the muscles softening to the bone. Good, and then bringing our hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Just letting your head bow slightly, lengthening the back of the neck, a little bit of pressure at the front of the neck. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. What do you need to transform today? Just checking in with yourself, finding an intention for your practice, a sankalpa. Once you've got it, repeat it to yourself positively, as if you already had accomplished it 3 times. And then thinking of someone or something that needs a little boost today, someone who can use a little bit of extra energy, dedicating your practice and your effort to them. So thinking of them, keeping them in your mind. And then letting those 2 thoughts drift down into your heart. We'll bring them back at the end of practice. Join me if you can for one resounding Om. Exhaling the breath out, taking in a nice inhale to chant. Om. Releasing the mantra, releasing your hands. Just taking a nice big stretch, a little bit over to the left, and wriggle your wrist both directions. And then move it over slightly to the right, and again, wriggle your wrist both directions. Good. And then over to the left, like a half moon, or a little sliver of a moon to the right, and to the left, and to the right. Good. And then just coming up for a moment with the arms, just right up and reaching in both directions, just reaching fully in both directions. Now try to get an activation between your left hand and your right sit bone. Left hand, right sit bone firmly on the ground, left arm reaching up. Now same thing with the right hand reaching up, right sit bone down. So both sit bones down, both arms reaching up, belly moving into the spine, especially with the exhale breath. Let it pull in, bring the breath into the chest. And I want us to be super aware of this space right here in the body. Okay, just being aware of the space there. Good, and then take both arms back behind you, interlace the fingers there. Squeeze the knuckles toward the floor, open the heart, open the chest. Good. And then release and take both arms to the front and give yourself a big hug. Nice big hug. Go back in the other direction, do the uncomfortable interlace. Squeeze the knuckles to the floor, really opening the chest. And then take the other arm on top for a big hug. And then release the arms and just let the back of the hands rest on the legs for just a moment. Let the hands rest, and just with the power of the spine, rotating it around the pelvic basket. Just small rotations around the pelvic basket, other direction. And then upright, okay? Go ahead and bring your legs up to neutral. Just put them out in front for a moment. Good, and just working a little, leave the left leg where it is, and let's work a little bit with the right leg. Just moving it back and forth in the socket. Making some circles in the socket, use the whole leg. Try not to move your body. Good, and then up and down a little. And then let's take it back in the other direction just a moment. Bring it back again 3 times. Back in the other direction and back. Good, okay. And then the other leg, just back and forth a little. Try to keep everything else in your body stable. Okay, a few circles. Use the whole leg. Maybe hold the knee so that you're not torquing your knee. If you're sure you have it as a unit, other direction. Up and down a bit. Back and forth a little bit more. Good. And then back 3 times. Good. And then we're going to come into table pose, okay? So finding your table for the morning. And again, becoming aware of this portion of our body. And now we're going to put the focus at the back. So maybe just come up like I am for a second. Come up onto your knees. We're not going to do camel pose, so not right now. So don't worry about it. Put your hands where you would have them for camel pose, right? Bring your belly in, lift the pelvic floor, and be aware of that space in your body. So imagine for a moment you're in Tadasana. So you have your normal lumbar curve, you have your normal cervical curve, your shoulders are stacked over your hips are stacked over your knees. If you were fully standing, your feet would be underneath, okay? Not jutting the chin forward or back, just nice, soften a little bit, just get a little bit softer. And then become, again, aware of that space at the back. That's where we're going to put our focus this morning, okay? That's our quadratus lumborum and our transverse abdominis. And of course, the traps start down there and start to make their way up. So there's a lot of stability in the low back, okay? Good. And then slowly into table. So just come on down with your hands and legs. Good, okay? Find your wrist right underneath your shoulders. Great. Do a couple of cat poses in both directions. Take your exhale and arch, and then inhale, come back to neutral. Take your exhale and arch in the other direction, and inhale, come back to neutral. Couple more. Using the exhale to move belly in. Inhale into neutral. Last one. And neutral. Good. Go ahead and reach your left leg back. Just reach it back for a moment, all the way back. Keep the toes on the floor. Look back and notice where your knee is toward the floor. And then slowly lift the heel just a little bit. Do not rotate the foot. So look back, all your toes are headed toward the floor, especially your little toe toward the floor, not to the side. And then release the left leg. Right leg, press it back, put the foot on the floor, look back, pull your garment out of the way, and see that your knee is headed to the floor. Good. And then lift the heel just a little. You're using those muscles. Make sure your little toe is still headed to the floor, not out to the side. Good, and then release the right leg. Great, okay. Now take another cat pose here. Exhale and arch the spine toward the ceiling. Inhale, come back into neutral. And then exhale, arch in the other direction, tailbone toward the back of the head toward the tailbone. And inhale, come into neutral. Good. So left leg back again, just pressing in. And this, keep your left foot on the floor for a moment. Right arm out in front. See if you can get that balance, your balance on your right leg and your left hand. See if your right foot is more comfortable stretched out or curled under, wherever it gives you the most power to stay balanced. And then without changing the direction of your leg, simply raise your foot a little. Doesn't have to go really high. You want to keep the little toe toward the floor. Release the hand, release the leg, and then place the knee parallel to the other, okay? Great, and now right leg. Reach back, Press through the heel, ball of the foot on the floor. Keep the foot on the floor. Raise your left arm. Parallel to the floor, reach out through the fingertips. When you feel super stable, decide about your left foot. Straight out or curled under, whichever gives you the most traction. And then gently lifting your right leg. Extend through your right heel, your left arm, get long, Surya Churya, sunbird. And then release the left hand, right leg. Perfect. Okay, another cat pose. Arch the spine toward the ceiling. Inhale, neutral. Arch the spine toward the floor. Inhale, neutral. Okay, this time we're going to go again. So left leg back, right arm forward. Good. Press into the hand, press into the foot. And then slowly lift the leg, press through the heel. Pull the belly in. Do not rotate the leg. And then release the hand and release the leg. Perfect. Okay, other side. Reach back through the right leg. Curl the toes under. Press into the ball of the foot. Heel is very active. Good. And then left arm forward. Reach to the fingertips. Palm is facing the midline of the body. And then slowly lift the right leg, just pressing through the heel. Pressing in both directions. Belly is in. Pelvic floor is lifted. And then release the arm and hand. Release the leg. And then let's sit back on our heels. Good. Just sitting up for a moment. Wrist circles. Both directions. And then wiggle your fingers. The tendons really help the forearms more. Good. And then starburst. Great. And then just shake them out. Perfect. Now we're going to go down onto our bellies for a moment, into alligator pose, okay? So make sure you can see. Well, let's go to Sphinx first, okay? So we're going to make our way down first into Sphinx pose. So lift your belly, lay out your feet completely. So tops of the feet on the floor. Make sure you have your toenails on the floor, all 10 of them, and your elbows are underneath your shoulders, okay? Good. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Great. Lift the belly away from the floor and just find yourself in this pose, okay? Looking forward. So maybe just listen for a moment if you have a different orientation to your mat so you aren't having to crane your neck a lot. You're going to lift the right leg off the floor just a little, point the toe and lift. Just a little, tiny little bit. And lower. Just activating the hamstrings on the back of the leg. Now, left leg, lift, just a little, no rotation, just a little lift, and lower. Good. Relax your glutes, your legs, relax your belly for just a moment, okay? So we can really see what happens when we re-engage. Belly soft, we're on our forearms, nice and solid. Make sure your shoulders are pressing away. So pressing down into the floor with your forearms. Now, lift your belly, pull in your pelvic floor, pull it in toward your belly. Good. And then reactivate your feet. Press the tops of the feet into the floor and the knees will lift off naturally. Just a little, not much. Good. So we want to be careful here with our glutes to not activate our rotators and give us some rotation to the hips and the legs. So just pressing through the big toe, little toe of the foot. Toenails really pressing into the floor. And then left leg, just a little reach, maybe 2 inches, not much. And lower. And right leg, lift. And lower. Good. And then let your ribs come down to the floor. Reach your arms back beside your body. forehead or chin to the floor. You decide which is most comfortable. Soften your shoulders. Bring in your belly. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Good. And on your next, and keep the back of the hand glued to the floor as if you had a 20-pound bowling ball in each hand. Do not move your hands. As you take your next inhale, let's start with an exhale. Exhale, belly in, pelvic floor engaged. Inhale, lift the chest and chin only as much as you can. Keep your hands on the floor. Exhale. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Only go as far as you can go. Don't overdo. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. You can turn your head to one side, or you can stay on the chin or the chest or the forehead. You decide. Good. Take an inhale. Exhale, belly to spine, pelvic floor lifts, and then inhale, lift your legs just a little. Chin or chest, chin or forehead stays down. And release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Let's change the breath pattern. Inhale while you're relaxed. Exhale, lift the legs. Inhale, relax. Exhale, lift the legs. Inhale, relax. And exhale, lift the legs. Good. Release the feet to the floor. Slowly relax your legs, relax your bottom, relax your belly. And let's come back into Sphinx. Good. So really trying to activate the back of the body, the whole dorsal side, the hamstrings and the back. Okay? Now again, right leg lift and lower. Right leg lift, hold, and lower. Right leg lift and lower. Left leg lift and lower. Heel stays toward the ceiling. No rotation. Lift and lower and lift and lower. Good. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Curl your toes under. We're going to press up through table. So find your table first. Good. Just finding your table pose. Take your time. And right here, a couple of cat. Exhale, arch, spine toward the ceiling. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, arch, spine toward the floor. Inhale, neutral. Exhale. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, curl the tailbone toward the back of the head. And inhale, neutral. Good. So just notice how the body is for a moment. Lean a little bit over to the left and up. Lean a little bit to the right and down. So beginning to make a circle, a barrel roll. Small, keep it small. Don't really roll your hips out to one direction. Keep the hips relatively stable, not sinking into a thigh bone. Keeping the acetabulum nice and tight in holding on to the femurs. Go in the other direction. Good, and then finding our neutral. Great, let's curl the toes under, sit on our heels, sitting up nice and tall. Great, just sitting for a moment. Press the ball of the foot into the floor, spread your toes, really spread the toes, spread the feet. We're going to come into toe balance, so just lifting off your knees for a moment, finding your place. You can rest your hands on your legs, you can bring your hands into Namaskar, whatever feels best for your shoulders. And then on your next exhale, let's come up to standing. Good, and then release the heels. Great, okay? So the posture we're working toward today is Warrior 3, okay? So it's going to require quite a bit of balance on our part. But I want us to realize how we just did Surya Churya on the floor, Sunbird, is the balance that we have in Warrior Two. So find your Tadasana, just finding your Tadasana for a moment. And I'm going to go to the side, okay? So finding your Tadasana, lift the pelvic floor, belly comes in, breath is only in the chest, all the way around, front and back, side to side. Good. Nice tall spine. Great. And then very gently, just put a little bit of weight over onto your right side and lift your left leg. Just a little bit, an inch or two off the floor. No other thing. Hug in the right hip. Don't lean your hip to the right. Keep it nice and engaged. And then release the left foot. Good. And then put all of the weight, start to shift it over to the left side, hug the left hip. Don't let the hip swing out to the left. And then slowly lift the right leg, just a little. Good. And then release the right leg. So our Tadasana is what's of utmost importance here. Now go to the back of your mat. Wherever you are, spine, perfect, okay? And we're gonna take a step forward, but we don't wanna go any further forward than we can get ourselves back, okay? That's the key. So don't get overly ambitious and go way on out and then you have to come back, all right? So take a nice inhale. And let's exhale, left leg forward. Inhale back. Exhale, left leg forward. Inhale back. One more, left leg forward. Inhale back. Right leg forward. Inhale back. Right leg forward. Inhale back. Right leg forward. And inhale back. Good, so just now finding your space. Good. Great. So this time, and you notice I have a chair at that end, and that wasn't very intentional because you know I have it there every time. But I'm going to use it right now when I go forward. So if you have a chair, would like to put it at the top of your mat, please do so. Please grab something, a chair, a bench, anything you might have, because it will help you with your balance, okay? And then you can not use it. Take a nice inhale. So taking our left leg forward, take it forward. And this time we're going to stay, okay? We're staying in that spot. And then just barely balance on your left leg. And then go back and back, okay? Same thing on the right leg. Right leg forward. Just begin to push off a little, just a little balance. And back, good. And then come all the way back, great, okay? One more time, left leg forward. Great, little balance up on the left leg. You can let your toes, wherever they are, keep your Tadasana. So you are even over your left leg. You're even, okay? Good, and back. And let's go with our right leg. So keeping your Tadasana and just balancing it over the femur of your right leg, okay? So right leg forward. And then coming up, a little hop. And just begin to balance over your right leg. Good. And back. And back. Great. Okay. And this time we're going to go for the full thing. So we're going to look like we did in Surya Churya. When we were parallel to the floor with our body, our Tadasana was parallel to the floor. You can be anywhere from parallel to the floor to almost upright parallel. But what you don't want to do is ever collapse or overly arch as you go, okay? So keeping our Tadasana, taking a step forward with the left foot. Good. So find yourself there first. Balance, find your balance. Make sure that your left leg, your left knee can stack over your left ankle. That's going to be your first principle of alignment. Left knee over ankle, left hip over knee. And come up. Good. And now I'm using my chair to help me. Good. So I'm pressing through my right heel and finding Tadasana, lifting the belly, pelvic floor is lifted. And then slowly, I'm going to go back. Good. And all the way back. Take your time, all the way back. Great. Okay, one more time. Right leg. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, right leg forward. Good. Grab your balance. Just lost mine. Good. Okay. Nice and balanced. Make sure you can put your knee over your ankle, not beyond it. So adjust your foot however you might need to. And then you're going to come up and stack your hip over your right knee. Good. And then you can hold onto your chair and extend out through the left foot. Toes are toward the floor. If you look back through, all the way through to your left heel, your foot and your little toe are toward the floor. Good. And then slowly come back. And then all the way back. Great. Okay, let's find our Tadasana for a moment. Being still, close your eyes. Good. Breathing. Let your pelvic floor relax for a moment. Let your belly relax. Take a few breaths into your abdomen. Standing Shavasana. And then on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the belly, hold the muscles onto the thighs, hold the hips in. Keep everything broad. Great. And then let's go to either side. Okay? So just a little wiggle in your hips. Good. Go ahead and externally rotate the left leg. Great. That just takes your hip and your belly button a little bit out to the left. Great. Bend the knee. And then come back. One more time. Bend the knee. And come back. One more. Bend the knee. And come back. And then unrotate. Good. And now over to the right side. Externally rotate. Bend. Straighten. Bend. Straighten. Don't lean. Bend. Straighten. Good. And then coming back into neutral. So really being aware of when we have rotation and when we don't. We don't want any hip rotation when we're doing our warrior three. Okay? Let's just come over parallel to the floor. Spread your sit bones, press into the heels, maybe push the heels out a little further. Long spine, relatively parallel to the floor. Don't collapse your shoulders. Bring your hands to where your hips meet your torso, right at the top of the legs. Good. Take a nice inhale and then exhale out. Good. Okay, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Come back into your Tadasana. Great. So I want us to think for a moment about this warrior three, right? And Babaji calls it Uttita Dvajasana, which is extended flag pose. So normally your arms would be up and you would simply be rotating over your stable leg, finding that parallel spot and coming back, right? So it's just rotating your Tadasana over your standing leg with your arms extended. But it doesn't do us any good if we're all externally rotated and doing this kind of stuff, like half moon, right in between. So just think about what's required for that. And so one of the things I want us to do is if you have a chair or a wall or a strap or anything, just go ahead and put your heel on the strap, on the chair, or you can put it on a wall. So just putting your heel somewhere where you can play with it and see that Tadasana over your leg. Raise your arms. Find your Tadasana. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the belly, reach up, shoulders coming down as the arms reach up. Good. Then release the arms, release the leg. Okay? Other leg, just put it on a chair, put it on the table, put it on anywhere you want. Hips are even. There's no rotation. Okay? Arms are coming up. Go out to the side, up like salsa arms, however you'd like to get them up. Shoulders come down. Lift the belly, lift the pelvic floor, nice and stable. Don't sink into the hip. The hip, very active. And then release the arms and release the legs. Great, okay. Excellent. Let's come back down into our squat, all right? So slowly, just making our way down into the squat. Breathe into those muscles that we were working. Breathe into the QL, breathe into that area of the transverse abdominis. Just breathe into that area. Good. Arms are inside your legs. Knees and feet are in the same direction. Don't have your knees pointed in outside and your feet pointed in. If the feet are out, knees are out, okay? Good. Relax and breathe. Great, and then just place your hands on the floor for a moment in front of you. We're not gonna, you can do crow. If you'd like to do bakasana and that's part of your practice, this is the perfect time to do it. For the rest of us, we're simply gonna put our hands on the floor and lift our pelvic floor. Let your armpits receive your knees, just looking at the floor gently, not too far up. Good, and if you wanna go to bakasana, feel free. We're just here, and we're gonna bend and straighten 3 times. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Good, and then bring your hands back behind you and make your way slowly, slowly down to the floor. Good. Extending out a leg and the other leg. Press through the feet greatly. So very, very active legs. Good. Put your hands right back there where we were working. And make sure you aren't leaning into your hands, that you're sitting upright on your sit bones. Bend your knees as much as you need to make that happen. So if you feel like you're leaning back into your hands, pull that in. Pull your belly in, bend your knees. That'll take it off the hamstrings. There's a war going on between your QL and your hamstrings for your pelvis. Good. Nice and tall. Feel that part of the body in. Pull it in. Good. Belly's pulled in. Everything's pulled in. Your knees may be as bent as mine are, or more. Great, let's take the soles of the feet together. Don't lose your back. Soles of the feet together. Just wiggle your way somehow into it. Good. Again, up on top of the sit bones. You may need to put a little something underneath your sit bones, a little fold of a blanket or mat, a small pillow, but not sinking into the back there, not leaning forward. Okay, nice upright spine. Good. And then release your hands. Sitting tall. Now pull into the shins and lift even more. Placing that part of the spine close in, belly coming in. Both sides are meeting in the middle, front and back, side to side. Excellent. Good. And then go ahead and bring in your left heel. Tuck it in nice and tightly to the groin. Good. Lean a little bit over to the left and your right leg down. Good. So for just a moment, all we're going to do is come up onto our knees, lift up and lower 3 times. Lift up and lower. Whatever you stretch is perfect. And lower. Good. And then switch legs, tucking the right heel into the groin, the left leg in internal rotation. Just lean over to the right. Good. May feel different on one side than the other. Not force anything. Up and down. And up and down. Get big with your shoulder. Up and down. Good. Okay. And then come into a comfortable crossed seat for just a moment. Nice comfortable cross seat for just a very easy twist. Focusing on our sternum, not our head. Okay, so keep your chin over your sternum. So put your thumb on your sternum, middle finger under your chin. Don't go any further with your head than you can go with your sternum. Okay, let's exhale, root down through the sit bones. And as you inhale, begin to twist over to the left. Don't go any further than you can go. And exhale back 3 times. Inhale and exhale back. Resist against the breath. Inhale, feel the chest, twist, 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 and exhale back. Good. Switch hands. Good. Keeping you honest. Keep that finger right underneath your chin, thumb on the sternum. Great. Exhale, root down through your sit bones. Inhale, over to the side. Going to the right and back. Inhale and back. Last time. Inhale, resist, resist, and back. Good. And just relax for a moment. Close your eyes. Soften your belly. Soften your pelvic floor. Soften your shoulders, your jaw. Just letting go for a moment. Letting your whole body go. Notice your breath without changing it. Just beginning to notice the breath. Notice how it's enough to sustain you, but you aren't really controlling it. Just letting the universe breathe you. Nice, soft, gentle breath. And then we're going to have a choice of our last pose set. If you are inverting, we'll do one thing. And if you're not, we'll do another, okay? Because I want to work the same part of the body, but I'd like for those who can invert to do that. So you're not inverting if you're on the first several days of your menstrual cycle, if you have glaucoma, high blood pressure uncontrolled, or any medical problem that you're unsure as to whether or not you should invert, don't invert. So those of you who are not inverting are going to lay on your belly and go through the alligator series, right? Where we were, still using those same muscles right here. So you can do both or one. And if you can hold, more power to you, okay? So I want you working that area as well. Those of us who can invert, we're going to work that same area with bridge pose, okay? So find yourself on the floor and then lift the pelvic, pull that part of the body in, pull it in on the back, pull it in on the sides, pull the belly in, pull everything in, and then release. So bridge prep 3 times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Do not crane your neck to look at me, just listen. Please do not compromise your neck and your carotid artery. Please, inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Good. So this time as you lift, press into your feet, lift up. Make sure your knees feel supported, that you have your feet right underneath your knees and they're feeling lots of support. And then press into your elbows to your shoulders. So that upper arm from the elbows to the shoulders, press in on both sides, lift your chest, bring the sternum toward the chin, not the chin toward the sternum. Arms can be in robot arms or all the way on the floor, whichever feels best for you. Continuing to press and lift and really put that part of the body we've been working in toward the ceiling. Pull it in. Breathe. Take a little look at the wall back behind you to get some space in your neck. No squished necks. Long necks. And don't look to one side, look only at the ceiling. Press into those upper arms, press into the forearms, press into whatever you can press into to maintain and breathe. And then slowly coming down, making our way, all of us, into Shavasana. Releasing your shoulders, releasing everything, just letting go. So finding your Shavasana, letting your body, don't feel trapped by your mat. Let your body, your extremities extend beyond and outside. Think about being a starfish. Keep your hands below your heart so it's not having to do extra work. Letting your breath settle. No control, no pranayama, just pran flowing. Trying to feel the balancing of the body itself. Stimulating, balancing. All of the asana we did are like a gross version of nadi shodhana, cleansing the nadis, balancing the body. What can you let go? Check in with your jaw, relax the jaw. Slowly and gently, bringing your awareness into the breath. the rise and the fall of your belly or your chest. Moving your fingers in space, swimming your toes. Moving the face, moving the head, wiggling your nose, wriggling your ears, moving your tongue in the mouth, eyes moving in the sockets. Lick your lips. Consider a nice big overhead stretch. Get as long as you possibly can and reach through the left toe to the left finger, and then reach through the right toes to the right fingers. And then come into neutral, bend your knees, put your feet on the floor, lift your hips off the floor, shift them over to one side, and then come over to the other side with your knees, your arms, your whole body into embryo. Curled up for a moment, just relaxed in embryo pose. Feel that C curve to your back. Chin can be tucked in. And then using the hand of the upper arm, put the hand on the floor in front of your face. Keep your chin tucked in. Begin to push the floor away, spiral up, keeping the chin tucked in. The head is the very last thing to come up. Finding your comfortable seat. Just being still for a moment, letting everything integrate. Making changes to body, breath, mind. Relax your belly, relax your pelvic floor. Relax your shoulders down the back, shoulder blades melting down. Spine is erect as the muscles relax. Without changing it, beginning to notice the breath. Your eyes can close softly. And just watching the breath internally. Is it in your belly or your chest? Not worrying about it, just watching it. And then using your next exhale to pull the belly in toward the spine. And then relax the belly and let the breath rush in. Exhale, belly to spine. Don't let it climb too high. Belly to spine. Relax the belly, breath rushes in. Exhale, belly to spine. Pull the belly in. Pull, pull, pull. Relax the belly completely. Breath rushes in. 2 or 3 more on your own. Tug the breath out. Good. And then slowly, just letting your eyes open if you need some instruction for Shitali or Siddhari, either of the cooling breaths. We come into some heat in many of our areas, so just finding a cooling breath. Using that same abdominal breath. Exhale, the belly pulls in, belly releases and comes out. We're inhaling either through hissing sound, which is putting the tongue at the roof of the mouth with a really big smile and hissing the breath into the belly, okay? Or if you can roll your tongue, it's genetic, it has nothing to do with your talents. If you can roll your tongue, you'll pull the breath in through that rolled straw, extending the tongue out a little past the lips, into the belly. Whichever way you get the breath in, it's fine, through an open mouth, cooling the cilia on the tongue, okay? So exhale the breath all the way out. Either roll the tongue or put on the smile and bring the breath in through the open mouth. Pause. And then exhale out the nose, gently, smoothly, softly. A few more. Inhale. Pause. Lay the tongue down at the bottom of the mouth and then exhale out your nose. Okay. Pause. Lay the tongue down. Exhale out the nose. Hopefully beginning to feel the mouth and everything getting cooler in the head region. Pause. Exhale out the nose. Continue at your own pace. Couple more. And as you finish this last round, keeping the tongue in the mouth closed, just noticing the temperature change in the head region. All of your senses come in through the head region. Even the sense of touch is interpreted in the head region. So just cooling down. Body, breath, mind. Relaxing the body. We're going to transition into meditation. Don't make any changes. Just try your best to stay where you are. Be here now. Shoulders are soft. No breath control. Just letting the universe breathe. Our mantra for this morning that we can bring the mind into. Om Shrim, Shrim, Shrim. Om Shrim, Shrim, Shrim. Shrim is a bija mantra for Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and wisdom, abundance. Om Shrim, Shrim, Shrim. As the mind starts to wander, bring it back to the mantra, silently repeating it to yourself. Letting the body relax, surrendering to Mother Earth. As the spine lifts up, climbing up to Father Sky. Om Shrim, Shrim, Shrim. Om Shrim, Shrim, Shrim. Om Shrim Shrim Shrim. Om Shrim Shrim Shrim. Slowly releasing the mantra. Letting go. Noticing your body, your breath, your mind. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali. Remembering your sankalpa, your sacred intention. And repeating it again positively to yourself 3 times. And to whom or to what did you dedicate your practice this morning? Bringing those thoughts back into your mind, pondering them for a moment. Letting them fill your being for a moment. And then letting them slip out of the mind, down into the heart. And out of the heart, symbolically into the palms of the hands. And then lift them up. Just let them go off into the universe, up and off, into bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. I'm on my way to you. If you have time to stick around and have a little talk for a moment, I have had lots of reflection about how we're using our memory and our mind. So I'd love to talk to you for a moment about that, if you've got a moment. Okay, Let me fix it where you can talk. Good. And let me switch to gallery view. Great. Okay. So now I have you all. Yes, last night we had Yoga Sutra class, and we talked a little bit about something that I've been pondering for this past week or so. Just the relationship of our senses to our memory and our mind, how in this particular lifetime, this particular way that we are right now with what we have, so much of all of our information that we're accessing through the senses, we bring it back as memory, which is manas, our recording faculty. Manas records what actually happens and comes in through our senses, and then we extrapolate that information and make choices in the world, right? Like I touched a hot stove, I burnt my fingers, I came off the hot stove. So the next time I get to a hot stove, my senses have already told me what that feels like. And so my mind has memorized that, and I have that memory of the hot stove, so I take that into account. But what if it's not really a hot stove, right? What if it's just a stove in a department store that they've painted the coils red so that it looks like a hot stove, right? So these are the ways in the sutras that we begin to have mistaken identity of things. So I just want to call our attention to the fact that manas is our recording faculty, which remembers our experiences. And like I said, we can extrapolate that information, thank God, and walk in the world and keep ourselves safe and sane. But there is buddhi, which is our intellect, our discriminating wisdom, our cosmic consciousness that we all have access to, all of us, right? So just to remember, when you have doubt about something that you're experiencing from memory, if you can change that paradigm all on your own, if you can just go beyond that and think this is not the only way to be in the world, this is not the only way to walk in the world. Bye. Adios, Juan Carlos. Gracias, mi amor. So just to allow us to think, you know, we have our information that we're processing, but we're a part of the cosmic consciousness, and we have access to all of that. And we often forget that. We think that we only are limited to what we have as our own personal knowledge, and that's not true. We can access much beyond what we ourselves know. And I think probably all of you in this room right now have had that experience, right? Because that's why yoga keeps calling to us, because we've had experiences beyond our understanding, beyond our body-mind complex, that really help us to continue to practice. Practice is what's key. Okay, so that was enough preaching to the choir. Any comments, any questions? How about that Warrior 3? How was that for you? How did you activate that part of your body this morning? Anybody? Antonia, I know that's a good place for you to be working. Did it feel okay?
Yeah, thank you, Kamalesh. I really like that you went through the preparation for Warrior in such detail. I feel it was really good for the back.
Good. Yes, it is really good for the back, but a lot of times we're not ready for it, and then it's not good for the back at all. Yeah, thank you, Ashok. Anybody else? Any Warrior 3 experience? Maggie Deer?
Yeah, I woke up this morning at 4:30 a.m. With very, very heavy back pain right in the place where we started working today. So it was just like the perfect class. I had to get up during the night or morning. I had to get up and stretch a lot in order to get rid of that pain. But the class was like perfect for me. Thank you, Ginger.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. It's so funny when I have people that have back pain and they say, and I say, I can help you. And they'll say, you know, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to work at your back. And they're like, no, I don't want to move my back. And it's like, got to start there, sweetie. That's where you got to start. Pulling in the belly, work in the back.
Yes, the belly is very important.
Absolutely, but that's the cue, you know, that helps us is continuing those cues of, I mean, my job, especially for you when I can't see you and I'm not really close to you, and I know what I'm having to do to remind myself to do it, then that's when I try to remind you, belly in, pelvic floor lifted, belly in, pelvic floor lifted. And to not have that external rotation in the leg is so important, right? Because then we just start to fall into that gluteus maximus, who's just a big old bully on the back of the hip. He thinks he can do everything, right? And so the gluteus maximus just pulls that leg into rotation instead of using the medius and the minimus to hold it stable underneath. So sometimes you have to relax that big glute and then push out through the heel, and then you can firm it up and hold it, right? So sometimes it just like, it's stronger, it's bigger, so it kind of just bullies its way in and gives you that rotation out to the side. And we have to kind of fight against that. Keep those toes toward the floor.
Well, if you have time, maybe I can have some private classes with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll talk to you then through WhatsApp.
Gracias, thank you, Manipa. Thank you. I'm so glad. Hi, Mary. Nice to see you. I see you a lot. Mary and I work together for Mount Madonna. She's, I'd say she's my boss, but she's really not because she doesn't want to be that right now. But we're colleagues. Yeah, it's really nice to have her. Yeah. And Nayana, how are you doing? How's your back? Was that okay for you? Good.
Yes, it was good. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Look at the baby saying hi. The baby with Shara. The baby with Shara saying hi.
Hi, sweet pea. How you doing? Hi, Shara. Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. It's so nice to see you. Did you do yoga with mommy?
I have tulips.
You have two what? Tulips. Oh my goodness. How beautiful. Did you get those for mommy? Wow, that's very
Mommy got those for me.
Mommy got those for you. That's really special. Did she do yoga with you, Shara?
Have a good day.
You too, sweetheart. She can also be like the counterbalance, you know, like when you need some counterbalance, you just lift her up.
Hey, I have a balance.
Yeah.
You have a balance board.
I have a balance board.
Oh, those are super hard. They were for me. When my son was doing skateboarding, he would use a balance board around the house, and I was terrible at it. He'd go, "How can you do yoga when you can't get on the balance board?" I said, "I can't. I don't know. It doesn't translate."
Yeah, I can do it.
You can or you can't?
Can.
Wow. Yeah, you don't weigh anything, though. That's not fair.
I know how to do it. Because I'm a big girl, you know.
I know you are a big girl. You are a very big girl.
My birthday is in August 1st.
Mine is August 6th. We're two Leos.
Leo the lion. Her birthday's coming too.
Yeah, so we'll have to celebrate our birthdays in the month of August, right?
I want ice cream for my birthday.
I do too, but I can't have it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Jana, did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna do a little gratitude and smiley face, say thank you.
Oh, you're all so welcome. I really appreciate it. Pratibha, nice to see you here.
It's inspiring to do the yoga with you. Otherwise, it's not any fun.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, my sweetie. Nice to see you. Really nice to have you all. And Sandra, nice to not see you, but I know you're there. So everybody, thank you very much. John, nice to have you. Glad you're there with us.
Okay.
And I'll see everyone hopefully next week. Let me ask all of you. I've been doing Tuesday in Spanish, but much more people come to the Thursday class lately. It's just been, 5 or 6 in Spanish. And some people may be suffering through my Spanish, right? I mean, I speak Spanish fine, but it's not perfect, right? And so I'm wondering if I should just do the class on Tuesdays as well in Spanish. If you come on Tuesdays, and if I were to change, just raise your hand if Tuesday is a possibility for you too, Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just to kind of know that. All right, great. So I will decide, it'll be an August start, like a new birthday month. Yeah. Who would have thought I'd be spending my 70th birthday by myself? How terrible is that? There were my kids were coming.
Do you know what time you were born?
5:43
In the afternoon or more?
in the morning.
Was it before the sun came up or after?
5:43 in August in Nashville, Tennessee. I have no idea.
Can you find out?
Probably just about as the sun came up, I'd say. Because 5:43.
Anybody who would know?
Probably Dr. Suhas would know. He's done my Jyotish chart. Yeah.
Well, you had to
When
tell.
is your birthday? When is your birthday?
August 6th. August
6th.
6th. Yeah.
You have a class that day.
I do have a class that day, which is going to keep me sane.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. So nice to see you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Much love.
You too.